A pleasant good morning to everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Coles Brown. Here's our guest menu for February the 8th. Travis Jarome, Associate Media Director for Sports Information at Jackson State University. He'll stop by at about 11:30-ish. We'll join him and have a conversation about, of course, Jackson State and boy, a big time basketball game last Monday night. We're going to talk about that. It was one for the ages. Also, we were visited by Coach Mark Frederick, offensive coordinator at Southern University. He'll recap the 2025 National Signing Day for the Southern University Jaguars. And then, last but not least, in hour number 2, Nathan Zimmer. He's a place kicker from Central High locally. He signed with Southern University. He'll stop by and talk about that whole process. Nathan Zimmer. Here's what's trending on the Coles Brown Show. Southern University men's basketball team remains undefeated. Is there pressure for the Jaguars to continue on their winning ways? I don't know, but I'm feeling the pressure as an alum. Undefeated in conference play. The Jaguars continue this weekend in Alabama. Southern University football program, of course, announced its 2025 signing class. And are you ready for some HBCU baseball? Their season is right around the corner. That's what's trending on the Coles Brown Show. Now, the panel joins us as always. Charles Edmond, good morning to you. And A.D. Wheeler Brown, good afternoon to you,
Good
sir.
afternoon. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
All right, all right.
I'm not doing well, Carlos.
Well,
I'm not doing well.
What can Brown do for you, Charles? Get it off your chest. Get your feelings out.
I have in front of me some gummies. You know, there are all kinds of gummies these days. There's the candy gummies, and then there's the other kind of gummies. Based on what happened with the Lady Braves in Valley the other night, I might be leaning towards the other kind of gummies.
Oh, no.
Trying to get myself right before this big game coming up here. I got some gummies. I don't want to show what kind of gummies it is. You see the corner there, but tough 48 hours for Lady Braves basketball, and we try to get back on track against a team that's better in UAPB.
Well, Charles, hopefully we can make you feel better. Let's rewind. It was good to see you, Charles. You came up and talked to us after the basketball game. Southern University and Alcorn on the women's side, 59-55. I thought the Lady Braves played smart. My goodness, they hit just about every free throw. It seemed like, I know they missed a few, but it wasn't many. And from a historical standpoint, I've seen Alcorn come into Baton Rouge when Coach Pugh was the head basketball coach. They've always played Southern University tough. We saw the same thing. Hats off to Alcorn State Lady Braves, 59-55. Now, after that, and Charles, you talked about it this week, being consistency. And then they go out Thursday night and lose a home game to Mississippi Valley State. So, Charles, it's going to be all right. The sun will come up tomorrow. It's going to be all right. But, consistency is one of the things. And I've said the team that is the most consistent, both on the women's and men's side in this basketball season, they will be at the finish line with a chance to punch their ticket to the NCAA basketball tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see you. Good to see your friend Truck. Good to see everybody down in Baton Rouge last week. It was two great basketball games. I think you could easily make the case, two of the top three games of the year on both sides. Look, I just think just typically we are a better matchup for Southern University for whatever reason. Nate Kilbert's system, offensively, defensively, is bothersome to Southern University, Lady Jags. I think that's the right word. It just Southern can't get into much. Southern can't, offensively. They had a shot to win the game. They missed a point blank shot with about 2 seconds left, so they had a shot. But the key to that game last week from the women's side was free throw shooting. If you look, and you just referenced it, in the second half and overtime, we were 17 of 19 from the free throw line. This was a team traditionally, that's been near the bottom of the conference in free throw shooting. When we need to make them the most in the pressure situations, we hadn't stepped up. But the last two overtime games, Florida A&M, we were 12 for 12 2 weeks ago here in overtime from the free throw line. We were 17 of 19 in the second half against Southern University. So we made enough plays. We got enough stops. I thought our press kind of bothered Southern a little bit. Just enough turnovers to kind of give us extra opportunities. So, that was the difference, I thought. And the Lady Braves just stepped up and played really well. And, and so that, I thought that was one of the biggest SWAC regular season wins under Nate Kilbert. If you just think about it, going back since his tenure, one of the top three teams in the league. And so the Lady Braves got it done. And you have to take your hat off to them in that women's game. And then the men's game was another wonderful game in which, we got stops, we made shots, we caught a couple of breaks, but Southern hit the big shot when it counted in the last minute and a half of the game. That just took us out of it. But, the Braves played hard. That's the hardest that we played all year, Nate. One game. Bussy talked about playing hard. We played hard throughout because we could have folded the 10 a couple of times and we didn't. But I think, but you got to give Southern credit. And then for us, we gave up a 4-point play. We had guys, Mike Pajot, who's from New Orleans, that's a senior, had a personal and a technical, which resulted in 4 free throws. We fouled in an active shooting a 3. That was another 4-point possession. Can't do that. Can't do that on the road and expect to win. So, but that was another great game. We played well. We played hard, but just came up short on the men's side.
Well, Charles and Wheeler, because Southern's undefeated, we're talking specifically on the men's side. I think they're going to get everybody's best shot. Once again, traditionally, Alcorn has played tough. And let me tell you something. I would not want to face them in the first round. And Coach Bussy, wow, the team takes on the attributes of their coach. And Charles, you said this is the toughest that they played all year. I didn't expect anything less. So I think Alcorn, just from my opinion, will be heard from going forward, specifically in the SWAC basketball tournament. That game was 74 to 69. Let me get it right. 74 to 69, Southern University over Alcorn State. That was last Saturday. That was kind of the rewind. When Travis Jarome joins us, we'll kind of talk about that Monday night game, Wheeler, which, Southern and Jackson State. Man, overtime. I mean, my goodness, it was going back and forth. Once again, that was the game that I expected. Southern University is going to get everybody's best shot. So do you want to trade places and be on the other side, Charles, of the spectrum? No. But I know Southern University and Coach Johnson, they're not so much worried about being undefeated. They're so much worried about continuing to get better. And now going into Alabama and Alabama, Montgomery, and Huntsville, it's going to be tough. So, I joked that Pat Riley texted me and said, look, Southern's not going undefeated in conference play on the men's side. And pretty much they're not. They're not. But their ultimate goal is to win the SWAC basketball tournament. And Charles, I said last week, some projections that you see, and it's just that they got Southern if they continue to win and win the SWAC basketball tournament. There are some websites are projecting them to be the 15th seed. We still
And
see.
Carlos, it's okay if they drop a few before it's all said and done. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even looking at them being undefeated right now, they're really only maybe 2 games up on the second place team.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not an insurmountable task, pretty much at all. And so I mean, you still got probably about 7 or 8 games left to play,
Yeah. In the second half.
and
Yeah.
somewhere right around there. And if they drop a couple, along the way, I think they'll still be in good shape going into the tournament. I think you probably don't want that pressure of being undefeated necessarily going into the tournament. You might want to go ahead if you're going to drop a couple, and not do it on purpose, mind you, but for it to happen, a little bit early on, so you got ample time to rebound and get things back in gear and try to keep it moving. So I mean, it's good that we're talking about them being undefeated right now. In the grand scheme of things, it feels good, but we all know there may be a couple hiccups along the way, so we just
Mm-hmm.
need to get prepared for that.
Do you realize that if Southern goes 18-0 going into the SWAC tournament, the amount of pressure
The
that will be
Southern.
on that program
Yeah. Can you hear me?
going 18-0,
Yeah.
the amount of pressure.
Yeah. That's too tough. No, it's
I
not
mean
going to
that.
happen.
I mean, we've seen these things happen where conference teams, do that. Maybe 17-1 or whatever. We've seen that. The amount of pressure because of the fan base, because of Southern University, Jaguar Nation. You going to Atlanta, 18-0. That's going to be tremendous pressure. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we don't know if they would even. Okay, let's say they go 18-0, and they don't win the SWAC tournament. They're not going to the NCAA tournament. Where they go to the NIT with the new alignment of the NIT, they might get a bid for that because they did go 18-0 in the conference, and that probably would be something that they would look at. But the amount of pressure, man, that's you could cut it with a knife. And so, but look, this was coming though. If you look at the last 2 games, Alcorn pushed Southern to the brink. Jackson took Southern into overtime. If you're Coach Johnson, this is what you want, because I'm not going to say it's a cakewalk that Southern has had before last week. There have been some tough games, but they've kind of had it their way. So if you want to have it tough, and the tournament's going to be tough, this is the time, to kind of toughen up. And I think Southern toughened up. Southern kind of reminds me of Alcorn, in years past. Tough defensively. I mean, Southern defensively has been locked down. The last 2 games they gave up, 69 and 90?
89.
That's not going to get it done in the tournament. Now that's I think Coach Johnson probably knows. You give up 69 and 90. That's 159. That's almost 80 points a game. That's not going to get it done in the tournament. You got to slow some people down. So he's got to clean up the defense a little bit. They've been good. So hey, if you're going to get exposed, now's the time. But I'm telling you, you go to Alabama. Alabama State just pulled off a huge upset and knocking and handing FAMU a loss in their last 6 games in Tallahassee. And, Alabama A&M, what team shows up there in Huntsville? And so, I think these 2 games that Southern's facing is going to be tough. And so it's not going to be easy for anybody. Texas Southern just lost the UAPB on this past Tuesday. So this is kind of the silly season, the second half of the year. You're going to see some upsets. You're going to see some head scratchers. It's going to make you wonder, what next going on? So, hey, buckle up. It's going to be a fun second half, I think.
Yeah, well, but let's just be realistic. Let's be brutally honest, as I like to say. Southern has Texas Southern and Prairie View coming back. FAMU and Bethune-Cookman a second go around. Plus, you have to go this weekend to Alabama State and Alabama A&M. So Charles,
and Grambling.
Right. I tried to forget that one. So so it we have to make note of it that they're undefeated. But
Hmm.
again, just from my opinion, no, they're not going to go undefeated. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I'm wrong. But it's still a lot of basketball left to be played. But I would rather be in this position
Oh yeah.
than to the opposite side where you've got to catch fire. You've got to put together a 5 or 6 game winning streak. And so right now, with 10 teams being in the tournament, I'm still putting emphasis on the regular season. It is still important. But as we get through the years, that's the question. Is the regular season still important? I know seeding is one, but then you're going to all 12 teams. Slack 25. I understand that the ultimate goal is to win the conference, but on the men's side, there's only one team with an overall winning record. Not a good look for the conference. Any thoughts? Well, EA say, Brother Cause I have to ask this. What does it say about the SWAC when two major blue blood rivals at the top of the standings have such a low attendance? I was shocked. Yeah, what are you talking about? You talking about the men's attendance? Or are you talking about the women? Are you talking about the men? Let's see. I have it right in front of me. Over 5,000 for the game between Southern and Jackson State. Not bad. 7,500 is the capacity of the FG Clark Activity Center, Willa Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So where are my mathematicians at?
2/3, over half.
That ain't bad. That
Oh,
ain't bad. I'll tell you that. It ain't
I
bad.
think it might be a little bit more than 2/3.
It ain't bad. I'll tell you that. It ain't bad.
Yeah.
Right.
I take that 7 days a week.
Um, on the women's side, a little bit over 2,000. Now talking about the Alcorn game that Saturday. Um, Good morning, Brian. The overall record never changed because the non-conference record, the majority of the teams. We've had this debate. We've had this
Ron's
discussion.
correct. He's correct.
We've had this discussion. Southern's overall best record. 2 quality wins against a group of 5. That's the way I call it. Louisiana Tech and Tulsa. We all know how the non-conference schedule stack up. Don't come in this classroom and think that this is foreign to you. Willer, I've asked you some pointed questions about this as a former sitting AD. Wait a minute. Those numbers are skewed. What do you mean, Willie? What are you talking about? I mean, explain it to me. I don't understand how the numbers are skewed.
Could he be talking about now? When you look at non-conference, you got your D1 wins, and then you got the other wins. And so the committee is going to look at those D1 wins. Now, we play the College of Biblical Studies and the ecclesias of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And those things probably get, and we can talk to Dr. McClellan about it. He's the chairman of the NCAA basketball committee. But my guess is those games get thrown out the window. It's like you never even played them from the committee's perspective. So I think that may be what he's talking about. You're talking about skewed records. Let's take those games out of the window and throw them out and see what you got. I think Southern University clearly is really the team that's won, even though it's been a couple quality games, quality wins. But the unfortunate part is it was in November and December. And once you get into conference, because the rest of our conference teams are not stacking up like Southern has stacked up, it's kind of a ding, unfortunately.
And haven't we had this discussion before, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have, yeah, we have.
So,
and it's all about what model you're going to utilize, in terms of basketball. Now, if you're going to go all in with the guarantees and all that sort of thing, at the same time, you want to make sure that your squad has some semblance of success during that particular phase of the season. So, you want to sprinkle a couple Louisiana Bibles in there, that sort of thing, so they can experience some success. But you know that on the flip side, when it comes to, those issues in terms of seating, that sort of thing, that you're going to pay the cost for it. So you know that. And the only way you're going to be able to get it upright is like Southern has done it, I think, in terms of playing a couple of quality opponents and getting some wins on top of the losses from the guarantees. So they got an ample mixture of both, and now they're doing well in the conference, and so they're reaping the rewards of that particular formula. So, I mean, it is what it is on that one. Everybody's not going to be as fortunate.
No, I mean, and my point of view has been, and I think others agree, you have to have balance with those non-conference games. But the reality check is right now, the majority of our teams are going to play at least 75 to 80% of those guarantee games. So it is what it is right now. And
Hmm.
then again, that's what we talked about. It's a lot of pressure because Southern's done a good job. They got 2 quality wins out of non-conference. They've had some bad losses as well. And then you have some of the, as you referenced, Louisiana, the biblical schools and all of these non NCAA or NAIA or even less than that on the schedule. And there's a blueprint to how to change that situation. But right now, 75 to 80% of the conference administrators, they're going to play those games. They're going to continue to play those
And
games.
unfortunately, Carlos, everybody's going to have to adopt the same model in order to get the desired results. One or two teams can't go this way and the others go the other way, and the whole conference is going to reap the rewards of what those
Mm-hmm.
couple of teams did that got them where they needed to be. So it's gonna have to be a conference initiative, okay, in terms of how we're going to approach this.
Mm-hmm.
From a seating point of view, that sort of thing. How we're going to work this. Everybody got to be on board because if
Yeah.
it's just one or two teams, the rest of the conference is going to be drugged down, and in the grand scheme of things, you're going to be mixed in with the rest. And so it's really not going to change anything.
I've
Right.
talked to other coaches, Carlos. I've talked to other
Mm-hmm.
coaches about this. Stuff we talk about on this show, I kind of run it by other coaches and just get their general thoughts. On the women's side, I've talked to our coach, Nate Kilbert, about it. Every year he's going to have Mississippi University for women. He's going to have Arkansas Tech, Arkansas
Mm-hmm.
Baptist. He has no apologies for playing those teams. You know why? Because he wants to get a feeling of victory. If you go out and play the gauntlet of schedules that we play without those teams, without those particular teams, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
Tougaloo, Dillard, Suno, College of Biblical Studies, you are in
Mm-hmm.
a position to go 0-13 throughout the conference. And other coaches have told me we just want to see what a victory feels like. It doesn't necessarily matter who we're playing. Just taste a victory. And then you just kind of springboard from there. Now, does it always get the desired results on the other end of it? No, because you're right back in that gauntlet. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you're playing these type of games. You're only playing 2 or 3 a year, at home. You make a couple of bucks. You pay them probably $2,500. You're paying for their expenses. I mean, so the cost of bringing them to Southern and to Alcorn, we're not paying them a whole bunch of money, but at the same time, they're getting the experience. They're playing up. It's their Super Bowl. And so that's part of the reason why we play these teams. But I think you have two schools of thought. The commissioner is saying one thing, and the commissioner knows what this should look like. But
Mm-hmm.
then the head coach has got to follow the directive of the athletic director and the administration. If you got to bring in a certain amount of money, then you got to bring in a certain amount of money. And so you're going to play more of those games because that's what you've been directed to do. Do we necessarily care about the NCAA seedings? Hate to say it, but I don't think so. I think this platform is the only one maybe Brian Fulford. We talk about it, but we don't talk about it on these wide variety of platforms in terms of where our seedings are until March. We fuss and fuss. Come March, we're going to gripe and complain. The complaining should have been in November and December. Our seeding is pretty much set. Our seeding is pretty much set already. What's going to happen in March? Now, if Southern doesn't win the tournament, we're going to Dayton. No matter who wins the tournament outside of Southern, we're going to Dayton. You already know that. But if Southern wins, the projection is they'll avoid Dayton and be a 15 seed, which is good, I think. But, we don't talk about it enough in November, December when we're going through this gauntlet. But then in March, we get upset about it. We get upset about our seeding, but it's been determined already for the most part.
Where they don't talk about it enough, Charles, is amongst the members of the conference.
Right.
And during those meetings, with the ADs, that sort of thing. That's where it's not being discussed enough. It's almost like everybody pretty much, I ain't gonna say everybody for yourself, but, I got my formula, you got your formula. I've told my coach he's got to bring in 700,000, and I've given him the autonomy to do it his way as long as he brings it in. And, so he's picking and choosing his formula in terms of trying to get me my 700, but at the same time, get a couple wins in, on the flip side, but before the conference season starts. Other schools have just dove right into the pot in terms of playing all 10, 11 games in terms of guarantees, that sort of thing. And, they come out, they lose the first 4 or 5 conference games because of that, before their kids realize, hey, we should be beating these guys. And, it's just, like I said, the conversation needs to be had, but it needs to be had amongst the ADs and the commissioner, and it needs to be a frank conversation. And then at the end of the day, everybody needs to come out on the same accord and say, look, this is the direction that we're going to go in. Let's try it for a couple of years and see, whether or not it affects any changes, things of that nature. But if the best I'm going to be able to do, is go from a 16 to a 15, I mean,
I'll take that. I'll take it. I'll take that. I'll take avoiding Dayton.
That's going to say, then why am I giving this up for just one space?
Yeah. I'll take that any day of the week. If we're a 15 seed, you're going to be playing one of the top 8 teams in the country, but I'll take the 15 on the front end. You know where you're going seeded wise. You know that you're probably going to be playing Thursday or Friday. You got some extra time to get ready as compared to knowing that you're going to Dayton on a short turnaround. The SWAC championship game is Saturday. You got to get back on campus and celebrate the selection. Then you got to get on a plane. I've done that. And that's a tough 72 hours. Texas Southern's done it. And that's a tough 72 hours. I'd rather be a 15 or 14, knowing I'm going to play Thursday at 7 o'clock, knowing who my opponent is. You got a little extra time, not much, but enough time to get ready. The other part is that our commissioner is over the NCAA basketball committee. He knows what this looks like. He knows what it takes. So I guarantee you, if asked, hey, Mr. Dr. McClellan, what do you have to do as a conference to try to improve our seeding? He's talked about it. He's talked about it openly. I've asked him about it. He talked about playing these tougher games in December. So he knows what this looks like because he's looking at everybody's body of work. I think it makes sense, but whether that's being done, I don't know. Of course, the commissioner has a report to the college, the council of presidents. So it's one of those where you can make suggestions. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But you got the best resource right now. I don't know how long the commissioner is going to be over this thing, but he's got a term, but he knows what it takes. The question is, are we following those guidances?
No, we're not following. We're having the same doggone conversation 20 years. And quite frankly, you see the expression on my face. Here we go again. We're talking about the same thing. He's giving them the advice. He's giving them the counseling. They have decided not to follow that. So what are we continuing to discuss? It makes it look beautiful. What we're talking about No, they're not going to do it. You see some of the comments, 40 years, 30, 20, personally, 10, 15, the same old thing. Why are we even discussing it again? They're not. They, meaning the ADs. Well, Coach Banks said, yeah, it's the right way to do it, but we're not there yet. They're not going to do it, Wheeler. They're not going to do it, Charles.
And
they're not going to do it.
And it may be an insinuating circumstance in terms of why. In the individual institutions. You know, I mean, so.
I need a drink. I'm upset.
Once again, you're dealing with it from a case-by-case basis, you know, and you never know, you know, what the hierarchy is in terms of the institutions. I guarantee you there may be some instances where an AD may have brought up the right thing to their particular president, you know, and the president may have gone and talked with somebody who don't know jack about basketball or what have you, and came back and said, nah, I think we need to travel the same road we've been traveling, la-di-da, so forth, so on. You know, so, I mean, we act like we got all this juice, Carlos, from an AD point of view, okay? But it's really a lot more limited than a lot of people actually see. And, you know, so that has to be taken into account, taken into consideration. But if we all get together and gang up, we got a little bit more juice than we do if we're drinking from our individual cups.
Yeah.
That's it.
On that note, let me just go to a timeout.
No, try one of these gummies, Carlos. One of these gummies will help you out.
Know it?
I got one right here.
Thanks, but no.
Right here.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Send two down there to Carlos.
The information is the information is there. You know what needs to be done as a governing body as far as in the conference. They're not there. Then we can politic all we want, maybe continue to do that. But until we get it done, there is a blueprint how this can not happen again. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Travis Jarome's been patiently waiting. We'll talk with him when we come back. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Unbelievable.
Gummy, Carlos.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app and enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
Well, welcome back to the Carlos Brown Show. Charles Edmond here. We're having some issues with Carlos Brown connecting. I think Carlos Brown, Wheeler Brown, is so shocked and stunned.
Get that gummy down there.
Oh, that's right.
I'm back. Well, welcome back to the Carlos Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports
and I'm still
Network.
eating these gummies after this last segment. I'm still on my gummy kick.
Well,
I got a game in an hour and 20 minutes I got to do, so I got to get it together.
You go right ahead. You go right ahead. Yeah, EA. I'm hypnotized by the marching 100. Let's bring in Travis Jarome, Associate AD for Media Relations. Travis, I apologize for just getting to you, but welcome to the show, sir.
I don't know if I want to follow that last segment or not. Hey, you know, you always driving me to go think about what I needed to go do before we get ready to play.
Well, Travis, I'm just passionate about those non-conference games, and of course, you know, we get animated by it. But at the end of the day, we would like to see much more success for our basketball teams in a non-conference game. We understand that as a conference, we're just not there yet. We know the guaranteed games have to take place. It's just position on this show for me that we need to have a little bit more balance with those type of games. Well, with that being said, Travis, if you want to comment on it, fine. If not, there are another opportunity to talk about something that happened last Monday night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That was Southern University and Jackson State, 91-89 in overtime, sir. You were there. Your thoughts?
Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having me. I think the main thing for people to understand and to touch on a little bit about what you were talking about, the scheduling. Everybody heard TC Taylor talk about how he built that football team for December. Mo Williams built this basketball team for March, and it's very evident in the way that they're playing now in conference. You know, if you look at our schedule, we played 11 quad 1 and quad 2 games. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, that's not going to help us because we lost all 11. But when you go back and look, I think it justifies the argument of what you were talking about non-conference scheduling, about trying to slide 1 or 2 in at home. And most talk about doing that. And I will say this, and it's not to take anything away from Southern, but a lot of people, I don't think, realize that we played that game with our second leading scorer. He was in street clothes, and he makes a big difference because he's long. Jamie Mitchell's about 6'5", and he's long, which his wingspan is about 6'8", 6'9", so he would have been able to get a hand up on some of those shots outside. But it was a great game. I mean, we started off slow to speak. we put the ball inside a lot. We weren't hitting it from the outside until about 10, 11 possessions into the game. And by then it was already a 21-9 game. So we had to battle back from 15 down in the first half. I think it was 17, 18 down in the second half. And if you blinked or you went to the concession stand, you missed a heck of a last 9.5 minutes of that game, because that might be one of the best basketball games I've seen in this conference in a long time. And I've been in this conference for 8 years now. And that's not taking anything away from any other overtime games I've seen, any other games I've seen. But just to watch the battle between the 10 guys on the court and then the 4 or 5 guys coming off the bench every time for each team, I mean, it was something to see. And both of those coaches left, and they were sweating. Like, when I tell you, they both had to go probably jump in the shower as soon as the game was over, because they had to coach the last 9.5 minutes. But I'll tell you this. I'd heard a lot of talk about Deshaun Ruffin before I got here. Kid can play. Kid is a straight up, when he wants to take the game over, can take a game over. He finished with a double-double, 23 points and 10 assists. And that's hard to do in this conference, because this conference is a quote unquote Steph Curry conference. Let's shoot the ball from the outside and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great game, great atmosphere. That was one I wish would have probably been on a Saturday night instead of a Monday night.
Yeah.
It's not because of a doubleheader. It's just because I think you might have been able to squeeze about another 1,000, 1,200 people in there on a Saturday, because they had to go to work on a Tuesday. They didn't have to go to work on a Sunday.
Yeah, and traditionally, Jackson State, when they come to Baton Rouge, is always on a Monday. 5,621 was attendance. Now we had someone in the chat room saying no, it wasn't that many in attendance. I kind of disagree. We're not gonna get into it over the numbers, but traditionally, Southern and Jackson State, when they play, it is always tough. The rivalry extends beyond just football, basketball and baseball. These two teams, these two institutions, they really go after each other.
They do, and I learned very quickly when I got here last March, which is hard to believe it's about to be a year. That's just there is. I don't want to use the word hatred. There's a lot of disdain and dislike between the two fan bases.
Healthy dislike.
Healthy. So I kind of did something. I forgot I had it on my computer screen while I was sitting at the table. I actually had the table with the trophies as my backdrop on my laptop. The Celebration Bowl trophies. Completely forgot. And
Travis.
I was like, crap, it's too late now. It wasn't done on purpose. Charles, I was not being that petty, because I know I was not being that petty. I literally forgot it was on there, because we've used it so much that I put it in a place I could find it easily, which is in my photos on my desktop. And so I just put it as my backdrop so I could remember that's where it was.
Oh, well, as someone said,
I'm petty, but I'm not
come
petty.
on.
And I knew that's where Charles was going with it, but no, I mean, it's a healthy rivalry. I think that's a good word for it. Because I don't think people really understand that, Carlos, me and you can have a conversation. I can have a conversation with Perry, BJ, because we know where the lines are. But we have a healthy debate that we can laugh about stuff when we need to laugh about it. But we also know when to not talk to the other person for a little while, to let things settle down and go from there. But the fans, I'm not even going to try to even debate. I don't even know if you can call it a healthy rivalry in the stands. Yeah. I just think there's a disdain from each fan base to the other, which makes a good rivalry, though.
I would agree, and Willer's taking part of it. Willer, still, again, thank you for helping me that time get into the stadium. Oh boy, with a nice ride on the golf cart. I love that. But Willer, you've participated in this rivalry, and it's healthy. Sometimes the remarks about, well, you can't win a game in Baton Rouge because of extracurricular activities on the court. I disagree with that. But with that being said, your time with Jackson State and the rivalry between Southern and Jackson State.
It was always healthy. And I say healthy in
Mm,
terms of, you got two schools that are genuine in terms of their dislike for each other, that sort of thing. And they're not trying to hide it. And, but they're passionate, about their schools, about their teams, and they show it. And that's what you want. Sometimes things get out of hand a little bit, maybe, but, what we say is par for the course, so to speak.
mm,
And as long as it's not getting to the point where there are fisticuffs involved and things of that nature, you kind of roll with the punches and keep it moving. But I mean, you would wish that every school would have that same kind of feeling about every
mm,
other school. That would go a long way towards uh, taking care of some of our financial issues and our problems from a dollar and cents point of view. If everybody felt the same way in terms of the giving, in terms of the support, coming out for their particular schools, that sort of thing, we wouldn't be on here begging for other teams to fill our stadiums and all that sort of thing. There'd be a healthy mix of everybody supporting their particular schools, as
mm,
opposed to from an AD's point of view, you're looking over the schedule and seeing, well, I'm not going to make any money this day. I'm not going to make any money this day. I'll do all right this day because I know, Southern's going to show up, or I know Alabama State's going to show up, or I know Alcorn's going to show up. But, I'm not going to make much money if a Texas school is coming in town because nobody's coming and, all that sort of thing. So, from our point of view, from an administrative point of view, we got to look at those dollars and cents from those areas, and as we look to formulate our budgets, Carlos, we take that into consideration. You look over that football schedule, you see where the money's going to come from and where it's not going to come from, and chances are, if I'm playing somebody that I know they're not going to draw very well, I might look to go to Mobile, or I might look to go, somewhere else and take that game on the road. If I can make more money on the road than I can at home, I got to play around with that and see if that's feasible. If I can get my fan base to kind of go along with it. So, it's a catch-22 all the way around.
Our
and
president talked about that, Carlos,
mm,
the other night at our signing party. He talked
mm,
about the fact that, hey, homecoming sells itself, right? Every
Mm-hmm.
homecoming sells itself. You don't have to do anything for it. It's going to be 50,000 at the vet, maybe 60 depending. At our place, it's going to be full. When Southern comes to Alcorn, it's going to be big. When Jackson comes to Alcorn, it's going to be big. But what happens with those other games? Our president talked about it the other night. Like, we know the game that's going to fill the house, but what makes the budget is all the games, not just those 2 or 3 a year. And that's why you have to move, like we moved our game in Alabama State to Mobile. That was our home game, and we moved it to Mobile because financially it was profitable. So I asked Jarome, I was going to ask Travis about this, man. You dealt with Alabama State A&M rivalry. Now you've seen Jackson and Southern rivalry. What do you think about Alcorn and Jackson rivalry? I've been dealing with it for 33 years.
Well, first I'll say
nothing
this.
like that particular. It's heated and it's hated and it's passionate and it's intense. How would you describe Alcorn Jackson rivalry?
Well, first, before I do that, let me touch on something Wheeler said so people at home understand, because fan bases will complain about playing a neutral site game instead of playing your game at home. What they don't understand is when you move that game to a neutral site, you're getting something in return.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting money. You're getting something that's going to offset your budget. You're getting travel paid for. You're getting incentives. You're getting something from that promoter, something from that game. So for all the fans that are, I don't want to go here because I want to play this game in my stadium, understand you're not going to make as much inside your stadium as you're going to make at that neutral site game, whether it be in Mobile, whether it be in Vegas, whether it be in Birmingham. You're going to get more from it because at the end of the day, sometimes these classics, what people don't understand, and they say teams don't make money off of it. Both teams do. The home team just makes more because it's your home game that you gave up to play in that classic. As a visiting team, you're getting something out of it, so you're getting your travel paid for. So, for instance, Gramblin's the away team, and I'm just going to throw a figure out. What if it cost them $100,000 to travel out to Vegas? That's not $100,000 that's going to come out of their budget. It's going to be taken care of. It's going to be paid for by the classic. That's just speaking of for each classic. So, for everybody that always questions about why do we move these games to neutral sites, that's why. For me, I hate them, especially for the home team, because you still have to act like it's a home game. But for the fans, that's just something that is just different. I think the understanding just needs to be there. And our people understand that because A.D. Robinson always makes sure he explains it very well in the information we put out or when he gets up and talks. I'll tell you this, as far as the rivalries go, for me, it's different because I'm either in a press box or on the field. I'll say this. I know Charles was about to say I was petty because of the whole thing on the computer. We got dealt a level of pettiness when we went to Alcorn with the DJ when the band was trying to play. And it's fine because we fully expected it, but our band still played. The boom still played. But that's what you want to see in rivalries. If there's not any pettiness, it's not a rivalry. If there's not anything that fans can say to each other, it's not a rivalry. Us and Southern is a rivalry. Us and Alcorn is a rivalry. Us and FAM is a rivalry. Some people want to say us and Alabama State is a rivalry. It's not there yet. Some people want to say us and A&M. It's not there yet. And I don't know if it ever will get there. It's you're mixing in a win here and there, and the fans really don't go at each other as hard as they do in those other three. But I think if there's a level of, and I don't like to use that word a lot, but pettiness in it, it makes it a big rivalry. Because if you can get on social media and you can talk and you can back it up and you can do the things that need to be done as a team, then you're gonna and it's considered that way. But I'll tell you this, for us here, we hear the noise in every sport, and it doesn't. I think people think it phases our players and our coaches. It really doesn't. And I'll use Grambling for an example. Everybody tries to get into Mo Williams and Trey Johnson's head in the middle of the game. Those are two people you'll never get any reaction from. And it doesn't matter how close you are, but when the game is over and we win, or we win, if we win, you see it come out after the game. And I think that's the difference in what people try to do and what people think is pettiness, or we're going to try to get in your head. Our coaches and players, they hear it, but it drives them. And I think it does that to a lot of teams in this conference. But our coaches have been very adamant in saying it out loud. T.C. Taylor said it at Texas Southern after we lost to Grambling. We heard all the noise. And so it trickles down. It's not just the coaches and players. It's everybody that's in the building hears it. And so we all build that week towards that. What's going on?
Well, when you turn the ball over 5 times, if you don't turn it over 5 times, my prediction, it would have been different.
Oh no, but it was a perfect time. It was a perfect time for us to lose that game because it woke us up to understand that we couldn't sleepwalk at all, which is what we did here against FAM in basketball. We sleepwalked through that game, and we'd be 7-2 in conference right now. And that's not taking anything away from FAM, but we just played our worst game of the year in conference that night, and we're still trying to figure out why. It had nothing to do with their shooting or anything. We just didn't execute anything if you go back and watch that game.
We're visiting with Travis Jarome, Associate AD for Media Relations at Jackson State University. Travis, can you clear this up for me? I've been having, those group text messages. I have about 3 or 4 of them. Jackson State and Southern, that is a conference game this year, correct?
It is.
That's what I thought.
Simple
I'm not
answer.
always right, but I'm right on that one.
Simple answer, yeah, it is.
Now, with that being said, because Southern and Jackson will always play, even when Jackson rolls off Southern schedule conference-wise, vice versa. So I'm glad you cleared that up. Now, 2025 football schedule for JSU, and it's out. Southern University, of course, Baton Rouge, Jackson State visit in September. Do you ever get any conversations or questions about why is that game now in September when most fans on both sides, and I've talked to them, they loved when that game was in the middle of October, crisp and cool. Temperatures in the 80 degrees in the daytime, and at night it comes down to about 65. Do you get those questions?
But if we do, the easy answer is we don't set the conference schedule.
You know that, and you know
we
that.
We play it in the order that the conference gives us. All we can do is say thank you and pick a time. I think it's almost as if you like to see some games moved around. You do because it. I would like to see, and this is not going to be taken well by anybody from Alabama State or Alabama A&M if they're in the chat. I would like to see the Magic City Classic moved off of that weekend because the way the scheduling goes, move it around a little bit. It doesn't hurt to move it up a week, back a week. Everybody gets so used to doing something on that weekend, but what happens if you have something non-football related that comes up on that weekend? You're like, now I have to choose. I think if things would move around a little bit, I don't see a problem with it. I kind of like it being where it's at for us. It opens up conference play, and we're coming off a bye week. So it lines in perfect for us. Now, it may not line in perfect for Southern because I think they got Alabama State either right before us or right after us. And then it doesn't line up well for Alabama State because they've got Southern and FAM and then us, like boom, boom, boom in 3 weeks. I think where it's at, it's gonna cause some early separation early in the conference, and I think it's gonna make for an interesting conference race on both sides if there's a little separation early, and not saying, oh, we got to wait till the last week of October, the first week of November, to see who's really going to shake out and take the lead. Because let's just say whoever loses that game is going to be back behind the 8 ball, but you've got plenty of time to make up for it. The way the conference season is, and I think. For us or for you, that's beneficial because that game can go either way at any time. Obviously, everybody knows where my money is going to be put. But I think I just think it gives us enough time that if one of us slips up, it gives enough time to be able to battle back. Now, if you look at our game with FAM, it was so late in the year. It didn't leave a whole lot of time. FAM had to hope some other teams did some things for them to have a chance to win the division because it was so late in the year. And I don't like that. I don't like having to rely on other teams. I just like to be able to go out and take care of business. And if somebody slips up, somebody slips up. But I think it's, wherever the conference puts these games, any conference in the country is changing. You see every conference in the country is changing things up. Look at the ACC. They moved Auburn, Georgia up 3.5, 4 weeks. I think it's good. I like it where it's at. We're going to play it regardless of where you put it, whether it's in September, October, or November, or even December if we have to play again.
That's interesting.
Well, just a little context, Carlos, on the schedule. I did a little research this week.
Wait a minute, Charles. But Southern has an open date before Jackson State, if I'm not mistaken. So, no matter what month it's played in, early, middle, late, it's still going to be an outstanding game. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, because people were concerned about our schedule. Like we're playing Southern, Grambling, Jackson back-to-back in November. It's never happened, as far as I'm concerned, playing Southern in November and Grambling in November. But the SWAC Master schedule, we are 5 years in. And I texted Dr. Cavill about it. I thought we were 5, 6, or 7 years into this 10-year master schedule. So we're in the middle of this master schedule. We're 5 years in. So 2027, 2028, those games are pretty much set in terms of where they are. And so, I mean, you could do some moving around, but if you change one game around one date, then you're affecting other games. So this is kind of, you know, I know people aren't happy about the way these games are sitting, but the master schedule has been made out, you know, several years ago, and we're just right in the middle of it. And it's just a matter of where you're going to place some of these games, like Jackson Grambling playing in Vegas. That's going to be really fun, you know, and some of these other games. You know, Travis, there was some talk about Florida A&M, Jackson State maybe being FAMU's homecoming. As it turns out, we're going to be on their homecoming, which is already generating conversation already. Folks try to get hotel rooms in Tallahassee, which is a hard thing to do right now. But, you know, that man, if Jackson and FAMU is going to be on FAMU's homecoming, that was going to be off the charts like our game's going to be.
I will hold any FAMU discussion until after next week because I have to go there for basketball. And I would rather be able to go in there
good idea.
and sit and watch a game.
And by the way, I asked Travis, did he get any conversation about why the games between Jack State and Southern not played in October? I just wanted to know if, because I hear it all the time, and you know that the conference sets the schedule. You know that. But I just wanted to know, do you still, you know, just hear conversation? You know, you have some traditionalists. They love that game in October as I tried to set up the ambiance of that game. But they're going to play regardless, Travis, Will, and Charles, no matter what time it is, and it's still going to be popping.
Hey,
Carlos,
if
you put all those variables into the computer, you probably be impossible to come up with a schedule.
Oh yeah, it's tough
because everybody's got something that they would prefer to have on their particular schedule. When you got 11 teams, you know, you probably got about another 30 different kinds of issues spread throughout those 11 teams. And you try to put all that into the computer and come up with a schedule that's going to be conducive to everybody. It's almost impossible, you know. So you just throw them in there, you know. You come out with the dates that you come out with, you know. If you can make an adjustment or slide something here or there, then you know that's good. But you pretty much got to play the hand that you dealt with. And if it means that I'm playing in the heat of September as opposed to the nice cool of November, then, you know, maybe I got to switch the game from 1 o'clock to 7, you know, and, you know, just control the things that I can control, you know, as opposed to the other way around.
Hey, Carlos, there's a lot of talk going on in the chat about the 11 and 12 game schedule. Let me just go ahead and kill that now. Last year and this year were options to play a 12 game schedule. Last year, we chose to play a 12-game schedule. This year, we chose to play an 11-game schedule. If you ask our coaching staff and our players, you play a 12-game schedule, then you throw the conference championship game in, then you throw the Celebration Bowl in. That's 14 games from August to December. That's a lot of football. And then you're basically getting done a week and a half before Christmas, and then you're coming back on campus in January, starting it all over again. So we chose the 11-game schedule, and a lot of that was to give our guys some rest because 14 games last year took a toll. I mean, it took a toll on everybody. We had people walking around in the building in January still tired from a 14-game schedule. So that's the answer to that question. And it doesn't matter if you play an 11-game schedule or a 12-game schedule, you're still eligible for the SWAC championship because it's an option year because you play 8 conference games. It doesn't matter what you choose with your non-conference games. It's your conference games that matter. But we chose the 11-game schedule because of what we went through last year with that 12-game schedule, a very brutal schedule.
There you have it, JSU alums. There's the question. I did see it. 12 games, of course, for Alcorn, 12 for Southern University, and 3 bye weeks for Southern. Charles, you said last week you would love to have that.
Oh, absolutely. Because our bye week is like week 3. We're playing 9 straight weeks. And so if you take it off the sheet, if we get to where we want to go, that's 9 plus that's 11 straight weeks, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. No, we would have a bye week between that and between the championship game and Celebration Bowl. So yeah, I think it would be it will be tough. You know, and I agree with Travis on that. That's a lot of football. We got 9 in a row coming up. Our bye week is in September, and so that's Cedric Thomas said, "Bring it on." It doesn't really matter to him.
Can I say this?
Oh, I know Willow's gonna come over with the Iron Man.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
You know where I'm coming from.
No bye weeks. Play it through.
Play the damn game.
Travis spoken from a former offensive lineman. Yeah. Oh boy, I just love the people in the chat room. Leaving money on the table, KBR says, trying to get a competitive advantage. Nice spin though, Travis.
Hey, look, I'll say this: when you have an AD that is so forward thinking like Ashley Robinson, you don't leave money sitting on the table. There's money already being made somewhere that we're already moving forward. And if you didn't catch the news this week, to show you how forward thinking he is, we're bringing back a program that won a lot of SWAC titles, and we hired our coach this week. So we'll announce when the season is going to start and when it's officially coming back. But leaving money on the table, it's if our rooms were not as deep as they were last year, our running back room and our wide receiver room, a 12-game schedule is tough. And I don't know if people really understand that you have to have depth in order to play 12 games, because you're going to have injuries. And, you notice nothing ever came from our side about other people's injuries, because we had our own we were dealing with. We had 8 skill guys on offense that were out for the year after week 2. 8. And nobody really knows that because we didn't publicize it a whole lot, because we didn't concentrate on the guys that weren't there. Like I told Charles literally a couple hours before the game, hey, these guys aren't playing still. They're still out. We sat on it because at the end of the day, our rooms are so deep that you have to recruit for people to being hurt. You can't just recruit to recruit and just say, oh, I got this guy. You have to recruit for depth. And that's what TC and his staff did, and that's what they continue to do. And this class is better than the last class we had that helped us win the Celebration Bowl.
Well, speaking of classes, he's backstage, Coach Mark Frederick, and he'll be talking about Southern's recruiting class for 2025. But Travis, it has been a pleasure. Boy, I see a lot of the JSU fans are in here today. I love it. I love it. It's coming up in September, and I saw a comment in the chat room. I believe it was Dr. Carey said, "You got us this time. We'll see you in March." Okay. That's Southern and Jackson State talking about basketball. But you got to love it. But at the end of the day, we're all family. We like to beat each other from a competitive standpoint. But I always like to mention that, to remember that, because we all go through some of the same issues. And look, Travis, I'm still going to talk about the non-conference guarantee games. Travis, I'm still trying to get people to warm me up into 10 teams in the conference in basketball. Also, 12 teams, all 12 teams the following year. I don't know. I'm gonna try to get on board, Travis, but maybe
you'll enjoy it. You'll like it, and it'll become one of those things. When it starts, you'll be like, man, I can't believe we waited so long to do this. Just like separating one of the dates into single games. People said they weren't going to like it. Well, guess what? Our people still show up. Our people still support. Our people still like it. I'm not going to tell you what I said yesterday, but I'll go ahead and say it. I said it just needs to be split into 4, go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and be done with it. No. Be on par. Hey, hold on, Charles. We always talk about being on par with everybody else in the country, right?
Yeah.
How many conferences in the country still play doubleheaders?
Yeah.
Well,
nope.
I'll go beside. Go ahead, Charles.
1 of 2. I'll let you research that today. We're 1 of 2.
I did read that.
Don't worry about it. You'll think about it all day. You got a game to worry about. I got one to worry about too, so we're good.
And on that note, I got to eat me another gummy on that one.
on, on that note, Travis, we appreciate it. We'll talk with you again real soon. Invite you to come back on the show. Get ready for some important games in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, basketball wise. But we will
Carlos,
talk soon.
anytime. No, anytime you need me, please feel free to reach out. But to all my folks in the chat, we always end it one way. We always say, "Go Tigers." So appreciate everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll take a quick timeout. Coach Mark Frederick, and we'll be able to digest some of this during the commercial break. I'm still going to stand on what, Charles? If I had my way, well, that sounds familiar.
The regular season champion
we'll just send it.
Would represent the SWAC in the NCAA tournament.
And you know,
there is no way in gummies that's going to ever happen. As long as you got this going on, you got the 8th seed winning it. Is the SWAC tournament is not going anywhere. I get your point. But in this climate that we're in, probably ain't gonna happen no time soon.
Oh, this climate is crazy as hell.
That's exactly right.
And quickly, I had a dream that I was just being nailed by you, Dr. Cavill, Charles Bishop, Brian Fulford, trying to convince me that the tournament is still the best thing going. And then I woke up. I thought it was real. So, although I'm for that, at the end of the day, I still will, be supportive of the tournament. But I just have to say, I like 8 teams. I like the regular season. That's still important. Take a timeout. Mark Frederick is coming up next. Coach Mark Frederick, offense coordinator at Southern University. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The 4th annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The 4th annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We've kind of been talking about the upcoming games, basketball, SWAC, basketball tournament, baseball tournament, moving to Birmingham. Melody Gateways can get you to the games. Not only she is our fabulous producer, but she is an entrepreneur, and she has the plan for you. Also, if you want to plan a last-minute Valentine's Day trip, Wheeler, I know you're Mr. Valentine yourself. Hey, there you go. Melody Gateways at yahoo.com. You can be romantic all the time, 365 days a year, including Valentine's Day. But email her. We love her to death. Boy, in the chat room, I love it. They are going at it hard. I love it. Don't you just love it? FAMU, Jackson State, Southern, Grambling, all of the alums just having a nice discussion. Speaking of discussion, let's bring up offensive coordinator for Southern University, Mark Frederick, who if I'm not trying to tell him how to do his job sometimes, because I think I'm a coach, but I'm not. Coach Frederick, good morning to you, sir. How you doing? Oh, good afternoon. How you doing?
Good afternoon. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing fine.
All right.
It's been a interesting discussion. We're passionate about all the things pertaining HBCU sports, Southern University included. Now, the 2025 signing class, Coach Frederick, I always look at wants and needs.
Mm-hmm.
Just from my opinion, Southern hit the mark with needs. Overall, your thoughts on the 2025 signing class?
I thought we definitely hit the mark on needs. We started up front on both sides of the ball, then we worked our way back. So I thought we did a good job addressing the O-line and D-line where the game is won at. So I thought we did a good job there.
If I could say so myself, Coach, I would agree with that. The breakdown, 8 offensive linemen, 9 offensive linemen, 8 defensive linemen up front. Is that something that you guys wanted to address after you looked at last football season 2024?
Without a doubt. Coming into last year, I thought we had some guys. We added a few guys late in the signing period. Went through the season. Definitely on the O-line, we made some changes. Had to play some young guys. Played some young guys and got them going. They'll be coming back. But we wanted to add some older guys in there, some guys with some experience, guys that had played already, and much needed depth, man. I was just listening to y'all talk. If you planning on winning in December, you got to have depth on both sides of the ball. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we had some guys, but we lost some guys to eligibility. Well, their time was up, exhaustion. And I thought we were just under the number there last year, and we're going to lose some guys this year. So not only did we address the needs for this season, but moving forward as well at the D tackle spot.
Yeah, because, Coach, that's going to be one of my points to talk with you about the outlook for 2026. But I want to get ahead of myself. You mentioned about some young people you added, and we talked about it during the year, adding some of those young people on the offensive line. With now the signings that you have in, will you look to do something offensively the same or differently, or adding something to the playbook, personnel-wise?
I'm going to tell you like this, Carlos. Whatever we got to do to win, that's what we're going to do. Last year was my first year here as the offensive coordinator, and we got a playbook. But you got to do what your guys can do and what they do well. We can go out there and try to do things to please the fans, and then we end up losing. Then what? So I thought we did a good job of doing what our guys could do. Whatever that personnel we had, we used it to the best of the ability, and we got the W. So that's what we're going to always do. We're going to cater the offense to what we have. Some guys be stubborn to me, I'm going to do this, that's all I'm going to do. And then you end up watching the game on championship game on Saturday. So we was fortunate to have some guys to buy in. They took on the challenge, and ultimately, no, we didn't reach our goal of the Celebration Bowl, but I thought we took some strides in the right direction, and it's something to build on this offseason going forward.
Coach Frederick, I know, and we're going to get back into the recruiting piece. Offensively, quarterback position. Is that something when you're out in public? Do you get that question the most? I'm asking the question, but I think I know the answer. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm going to tell you what's crazy, man. Me, my wife, and my sons, we were in Walmart one day. And a guy, he's a Southern guy. He was Southern head to toe. I didn't have anything with Southern on except a cap. And he was like, yeah, man, I hope my Jags, do this, do that, and do that. But the quarterback, man, oh, my God. When are we going to get a quarterback? I think if we get a quarterback, I think we can do this, do that. And tell that offensive coordinator, man, hey, stick with one quarterback, and I think we can do something. And I just looked at him like, okay.
He didn't know.
No idea who you were.
No idea who I was. It's always about the quarterback. They don't care. It's always about the quarterback. I take it for what it is, man. And I think, we tell our quarterbacks all the time, it's hard to play quarterback at Southern University. You got to have a different type of skin. So, them guys are up for the challenge, and I think we're going to be well at that spot.
Well, Charles and Wheeler, it's no secret who I'm fond of, and I'm wishing the best for that. And Coach Frederick, no pressure from me, none. But just the way, all right, well, the way he carries himself, Jalen Woods in the quarterback room coming back. I know there's competition. There's quarterback signed both from the high school perspective and the junior college. What does he mean to Southern University football program going forward?
I tell you what, man, he came back with it on his mind. I think he's growing up beyond his time. A young man that is very prepared. He's always trying to get better. He came back and said, Coach, I'm going to compete for this job. It's my job, and I want it. So he got the right attitude. He's doing stuff on his own, holding meetings, holding the guys accountable. He's trying to bring the young guys along. And I just expect great things from Jalen. He's not going to give it up. So whoever we bring in, they're going to have to compete with him to take the job. And, of course, we are open to whoever wins the job, they win it.
Right.
But I think it's going to be tough to beat Jalen out.
Well, we had him on a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm fond of him. Whoever wins the position, of course, we're going to be supportive. Question from the audience. Ask Coach if he's going to add an experienced running back to the running back room during the May portal.
We definitely will. So the thing that stopped us from seeking one this mid-year, we got a high school guy in Asbury who came from Southern Lab. He enrolled early.
Right.
So he's already in school. And then another guy who we thought was off the books ended up coming back because of a rule by the junior college, and that's Kendrick Rhymes, one of our top running backs. So didn't really have a scholarship to give out this spring, so to say. So at the end of May, I think we'll be able to add another running back, experienced guy to the room.
I want to go back, Coach, and that's good news. Offensive line. Now, how many? And I like the way the balance was. You got some high school players, like one young man from University High, and often we hear, whether it's true or not, I don't think it's true, about recruiting locally. You kind of look at this recruiting class. You guys have really did well locally, and to me, and I've asked Coach Graves this, locally to me, and see if you feel the same, means not only Baton Rouge but the state of Louisiana.
Definitely, without a doubt. Wherever the best players are, we're going to try to recruit them. Right across the street at University Lab, man, you got a guy at Jarvis Brookshire. I was recruiting him when I was somewhere else and ended up back here, and it was a no-brainer for me and Coach Nivens. Coach Nivens, like, you know, he one of the guys I want. He's a winner. He understands the game, very smart. So I think he got like a 28 on the ACT, and it shows on the field. He does it in the classroom, and he shows it on the field. Then you got a guy, Clifton Webb from Zachary, another championship program. So guys who understand what it takes to win, and then they show it on the field as well. So that's two huge pickups for us in the high school ranks locally on the O-line.
And once again, Coach, I like the balance. High school, student athlete son, JUCO, heavily into JUCO, and then the transfer portal. It seems to me that balance is what we're talking about again as far as recruiting.
Right. Definitely. We went out. We needed some experience. We lost a couple of guys either to graduation or a couple of guys went in the portal. So we needed some experience up front. We ended up starting a true freshman at right tackle. I think he started like 9 games for us. A redshirt freshman at right guard. Trash had some injuries, so a redshirt sophomore ended up playing majority of the season at center. A sophomore, a true sophomore, and Garcia at left guard. So we had a young O-line. We ended up losing the left tackle to the portal, but I think we brought in 2 tackles that can come in and play right away, add some much-needed depth and length to that position. So then we got the young guys, like you say. Once you build the experience with them, I think they'll be able to help us early. I don't know how much they'll play. That depends on them. And, I like what we got moving forward.
2 quick points, then we'll let you go. Appreciate the time, Coach Frederick. Outlook for 2026. What will be some of the areas you'll look at to replenish the football program?
We're going to always recruit linemen. That's never going to stop. We're going to add some more receivers to the class, moving forward. And defensively, you got to talk with Coach Miller on that one. I know they're always looking for some D linemen, but I know he likes some older guys in the secondary. He signed some younger guys this year because we didn't lose a lot on the back end. I think we lost 1 corner and Rodney Johnson, who transferred up, but I thought we did a good job of addressing that need. We always want competition. We want guys that want to be at Southern University. We want, competitors, to add depth to this team to help us keep achieving the things we are.
Last but not least, Coach, benchmark outlook for spring 2025, heading then into the fall camp. But the goals for the spring.
Number 1, come out there healthy. I know some bigger schools just talking to guys, they're not even going to do spring ball. So I don't know if it's becoming more of a mute point, but we're going to try to advance as far as learning the schemes on both sides of the ball and special teams. And once we come out of spring ball, we want guys to have a good understanding of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to get accomplished. And that's to win the game, to be sound, and it's time to roll. It's time to go. Coach Graves said it at signing day, we're going to start in the A, and we want to finish in the A.
Well, that's a good goal to me, Charles. And especially we know we have the Jackson Knights in the chat room, and we've got the FAMU. And Coach Fred, go ahead, Coach Frederick.
I want to be a little petty on that. Now, I'm kind of young, but I've been around a while. When did they start saying "Go Tigers"? I thought that's you go Jags.
Oh boy, Coach Frederick.
When you the standing and you said it, everybody follow along. We get it.
Oh, yeah. Coach Frederick, this football season is going to be electric. And that's what rivalries are. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
So I hear from the Jackson State alum. They're confident right now, but and they bring up what they've won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
But I can say at one point Southern won 8 in a row. So again, that's what rivalries are.
That streak ends this year.
Uh-oh. Hey. You got to be confident, Charles. You got to be confident.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
But
now, before I get out of here, Charles, Willa, and Carlos, somebody told me to send a message. You're going to know who it is. How about them Knicks?
Oh.
He say with the addition of Towns, he say, man, they gonna be good.
I wonder who that was. Yeah, I know who it was. Yeah, tell him he kicks a man when he's down. Okay.
I'll make sure I let him know.
Oh, yeah. That's all right. I'm still a Heat fan to the end. And tell him we appreciate it. But I don't know if the Knicks going to get out of the East. But, hey, we will see. We will see. Go ahead, Charles.
No comment on that one. I might eat another gummy on that one. That deserves another lick.
Yeah. Coach Frederick, we appreciate the time, man. And, hey, good luck with spring and rest of the recruiting season because, coaches and programs are still recruiting. Although National Signing Day has come and gone, you still able, if scholarships are available, to continue to recruit.
Yep, definitely. The month of February is a dead period, so we don't get to go out. Guys can't come on campus or anything like that. But as soon as it opens back up in March, we'll be back at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A running back in the future with experience, I'm assuming, that you're looking to pick up in May or thereafter.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Have a good weekend, Coach Frederick. Wait a minute. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
They say you can't go against my homeboy, so gotta roll with the Chiefs.
Yeah. I understand that they're the favorite.
Yeah.
Well,
until they lose, we gotta go with them.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Appreciate the time, Coach Frederick. We'll talk again soon.
All right. Thank y'all, man. Thanks for having me. Y'all enjoy the
All
day.
right, Coach. Take care, Coach.
Go Jags. That's right. Hey,
Carlos, I got to run. We got 10 minutes for pregame.
Yes, sir.
Go Braves.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next Saturday. All right. We're going to take a quick time out. Boy, Will, a lot of pettiness, a lot of little ammunition thrown out there. The streak ends.
That's how it is. That's how it goes.
I'll be fighting that off for a few months now, I guess, from the Jackson alum. When we come back, we'll take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll visit with Nathan Zimmer. He's a place kicker from the state champions in the Baton Rouge area, Central High School. He signed with Southern University. Will, it's important to get the special teams
no doubt.
Where you need it to be. So we'll visit with him next. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Tickets are on sale now for the 4th annual NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T featuring Morehouse College and Tuskegee University. Don't miss this action-packed event happening at NBA All-Star 2025 and filled with competitive matchup and marching band performances celebrating HBCU pride. See you in the Bay.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Now we're going to visit with Nathan Zimmer, place kicker, who signed with Southern University, a member of the 2025 signing class, and a young man that has a lot of great opportunities ahead of him. Now from a state championship in high school, Central High School, now signing with Southern University. We welcome Nathan Zimmerman, and there he is.
What's up? How y'all doing?
All right.
Nathan, good afternoon. Welcome to the Carlos Brown Show. From state championship, senior year, now getting ready to start your career in college, Southern University. But first and foremost, talk about how that state championship has resonated with you and the Central Wildcats this past year.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Nathan? Yeah, give him a second to see if he's okay. Can you hear me, Nathan? We can hear you. Let's see. If not, can you hear us now? We'll get you to log in and then log back out. Because we heard your mic. I don't know if it's your headphones. All right. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we'll get him to log in and log out, log back in. But a little bit about Nathan. He signed with Southern University. He's a place kicker in Wheeler, and that's an important position, special teams on a football team. Are you there, Wheeler? All right. Well, we lost Wheeler. What we'll do, we'll take a quick time out. We'll try to adjust quickly, and we'll bring back up Wheeler Brown and our guest Nathan Zimmer. We'll be right back, folks. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Let's see. I think we've made an adjustment. Nathan, we have you back. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Carlos.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, we appreciate the time. I was saying before the last break, a state championship at Central High School, and now getting ready to start your collegiate career. But talk about that experience, state championship at Central High for you and your fellow teammates.
I mean, it was just a blessing from going my sophomore year 4-6 to missing the playoffs, and then my junior year having a brand new coaching staff coming from the ground up. I mean, it's just been a blessing and amazing experience.
I mean, Nathan, I think I read it would have been quite a while since their last state championship, and to do that and with the change of a coach, it's just truly amazing.
Yes, sir, it is. It was 58 years ago, back in 1966 when we won our last one.
Wow, Nathan. I was born in 1964, so that is that's a long time. The recruiting process, and I got a chance to see you and your parents when you took your official visit at the basketball game. Just talk about the recruiting process on your journey to getting to Southern University.
I mean, the recruiting process is just a waiting game for me. I knew my time was going to come. I knew God told me your time's going to come. You just got to be patient. And so that's what I did. I was patient, kept working hard, and the results showed on its own.
I saw on social media, I think you were at a kicking camp when I first kind of were aware of you. And it seems like a very strong leg. Talk about those camps and just kind of building yourself up for this moment.
Okay, so my first camp that I ever went to was sophomore year, and then I just started learning and taking all like the criticism and the different like techniques and stuff like that they've given me over the years, and just put that towards kicking and just to get better. That's all I wanted to do, is to get better and make collegiate football, and that's what I've done.
And with Southern University in the process, how comfortable were you? Because I talked about special teams and place kicking, punting. That is so important to a football team and program. The choice for Southern University, it was easy for you, and I'm sure your parents had to buy in as well.
Yes, sir. There was a lot of talking back and forth between myself and my parents, but we looked at all the pros and cons of each school, and Southern was the best fit for me.
Now, if I could ask, any other offers or any other schools considered?
I had one other offer, the Centenary up in Shreveport, but I would still have to pay some decent money in order to go to school there, because it's a private school.
Right.
But in Southern, being able to go for free, have the full ride, it was a blessing. I like to thank the coaches for that. And so that was like a huge part of me choosing Southern and calling Southern my home.
was it one point that you were like, okay, that's it. I'm coming. I've weighed the pros and the cons. Was there one specific moment that you said, hey, this is where I belong?
I'd say right after the official visit. As soon as I left that last day, I was like, this is my home. Ever since then, I've been starting to think about, okay, now it's time to decide where I want to go. I couldn't never get my mind off of Southern. I just knew down in my heart that Southern was the place for me.
Now, with that being said, kind of some of your goals, and you always have team goals, and then you have individual goals. From an individual standpoint, what are some of your goals to help the Southern University football program?
One of my main goals really is just to put forth my best effort and just to be the best kicker in not only the SWAC West, but just SWAC in general. Just to be the best kicker and just have the best special teams operation out of the entire conference.
Now, Nathan, you're going to participate. I'll have a chance to participate in the Bayou Classic. You have the game we were just talking with Coach Frederick, offensive coordinator, with Jackson State. Is there any particular game that you look forward to, or is it just, going to college, participating in the football program, and enjoying the 2025 football season?
I will say that just to enjoy the experience as a freshman, but if I had to pick a game, it'll either probably be Fresno State or Grambling in the Bayou Classic. I mean, just to go play in California, that'd be just amazing. To go play at a big school like Fresno State, that's just an experience.
Yeah, and it's coming up in September. The recruiting visit, you got a chance to maybe, talk, rub elbows with some of the other recruits that were there, and those in particular also committed and signed like you did to Southern University.
Yes, sir. Can you say that again? Was that a question?
Oh, yeah. Did you get a chance to talk to some of the other recruits as well?
I talked to maybe one or two, but not really much. A lot of the other recruits on the official visit were kind of quiet, but oh well.
Yeah, and if I remember at the basketball game, it was kind of animated at the end when they were playing Grambling State University. What did you think about just that rivalry, albeit basketball, and just the atmosphere there?
I knew it was going to be a heated game because obviously everybody knows Southern and Grambling. They always go after it, no matter what sport it is. So I knew it was going to be a good game. But towards the end, that was kind of a little surprise. And the atmosphere, it's Southern University. It's one of the greatest atmospheres in all of Louisiana. So, I mean, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah. Well, we had a picture that we were going to try to show you sign your official paperwork Southern University, but some of your classmates at Central High School, how do they feel? They wished you luck, congratulate you on furthering your academic and your football career.
My teammates and coaches have shown me a lot of love from the beginning. I mean, obviously, they've had their moments, but they've shown me love because they knew how good I was. And so, I mean, without them, I wouldn't be here, really, my teammates and coaches. So I'm just glad for them to show me love and just glad to be a part of that team.
Now, another personal question. As far as your kicking strength, what's the longest field goal attempt that you've made? And is there anything that you feel that you have to work on going forward?
The longest field goal that I've attempted and made is 62.
Wow.
Yeah, and let's see, things that I need to work on, probably just staying consistent, 55 and in, or 55 and out, stuff like that. Definitely working towards 45 and in because that's where majority field goals are going to be kicked. So just make sure I'm as close to 100% as possible in that range.
Nathan and Will, I can see it now. FAMU at home. Southern attempts a 55-yarder by Nathan Zimmer. Here's the snap, the placement. It's up, it's up, it's up, it's good. Now, you notice I didn't say Jackson State because I don't want it to come down to a 3-point victory. I'll take the win,
no.
but Jackson State, that's a different game.
Oh, that's a whole different ball game. That's a whole different ball game.
Yes. Maybe about 6 or 7 extra points plus a field goal. If you
Hey, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Will, you sound I'm being petty here.
10 points a game would be amazing.
And that's okay.
Oh, boy. Nathan, is there anything else you would like to relate to the Jaguar Nation? And we appreciate your time.
Thank you. I mean, just being from Baton Rouge all my life, just seeing the atmosphere. I've watched LSU and Southern play one year, and I really enjoyed that. And just seeing Southern, everything about it, I just knew it was home. I'm already close to home. I'm 30 minutes down the road, so it's like I knew it's the place to be.
Yes, sir. It is a position of importance. It's a position of need. So we appreciate the time, Nathan. We got you back on. Everything was great. Continued success, man, and we'll talk again real soon.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right. Thank you, Nathan Zimmer, place kicker for Southern University. Wheeler, I'm just looking for a lot of punishment, I guess. You love that scenario against FAMU and Jackson State?
Definitely.
And Jeremiah Clark, Cedric Walker, I love you to death. Dr. Carey, I love you to death. Oh, boy. Well, we got about 3 minutes. Remember Carlos Leach, Jackson Callaway won the game against FAMU with a 50-yarder in the rain. Yeah, I'll take that because, FAMU, Jackson State at home this year. A nice, attractive schedule. We talked about it last week, Wheeler. It should be a very exciting home games and a 12-game season with Southern University. A tough schedule. And speaking of that, I got a chance, Wheeler, to look at Alabama State schedule. Tough. Oh, boy. They got a tough schedule. And we'll pull it up for next week. Alabama A&M. They released their schedule as well. Terrell Buckley, new head football coach at Mississippi Valley State. Tough situation, Wheeler, but hey, thank you. He loves you as well, Mr. Brown. Oh, boy. But football will be interesting. Wheeler, basketball season, look, Southern's under the pressure this week.
Carlos.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pressure. Southern University basketball in Alabama this week. The women team. They got off to a good start beating Alabama State this past Thursday. So it will be very interesting to see if Southern University on the men's side can continue their hot streak. The women dropped the game to Alcorn State. But then defeat Alabama State. We're going to have a tough one coming up against Alabama and them this afternoon. I see we lost Wheeler there, but we may can get him back for a last-minute conversation. Want to thank Coach Mark Frederick, offensive coordinator, for joining us for Southern University. Also, want to thank Mr. Jarome, Travis Jarome, media, associate AD for media relations, Jackson State. Also, Nathan Zimmerman, I guess, as well. We're going to put in for some more interviews. We're going to take a look at some of the other players and maybe some of the coaches from some of the players that signed. Also going to put in a request to get TC Till in, Mr. Jarome, Jackson State head football coach. And then, of course, baseball season is coming very shortly. You got the Cactus Jack tournament coming up, which will include some swag baseball teams. The Andre Dawson Classic coming up, and University of Missouri, Kendrick Jackson. He's bringing Missouri down to Florida for that event. So baseball season, softball has kind of started already. Willard, less than a minute. Closing comments on today's show.
It doesn't take long for things to get started. Really, really pleased with the grand scheme of things. I think, all of our teams pretty much SWAC-wise are, trying to head in the right direction and getting it done. Everybody's looking for the magic formula. Nothing's going to beat hard work, Carlos. There's no doubt about that. And so I see everybody rolling their sleeves up and trying to get after it. And, just wishing everybody well moving forward. But like you said, baseball, softball getting ready to get started, track and field getting ready to get started. Hell, 2025 just started and it's rolling already. So, yeah, we're going to do what we do.
On that note, I'm just going to simply say, as a conference, let's get together. Let's hash it out. Let's knock heads. Let's pump fists together. Let's be as one on those non-conference schedule. It's going to be tough. I understand that. I want to thank Melanie and everybody in the chat room. As always, make sure you tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until next time, as always, peace and God bless.